Okay, it says we're live. Someone check over at Mac to the Future. Oh, that's not it.
Yep, we're live.
5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I will look over on the tubes of you.
The tubes of you.
The tubes. The tubes of you.
Man, my fan is killing it.
All right,
you're getting a new Mac soon, so you don't have to worry about your fan anymore.
Yep.
I know.
I'm hitting the video clip thing here.
Can't wait to do the podcast from the new era without a fan. It's going to be great.
Tonight on the Mac to the Future Livecast, go! You know, seriously, if you have to ask what the main topic was going to be about tonight, I just don't know what to say to you. I mean, come on, you know it's going to be all about the Silicon M1 processor Macs announced yesterday. That's what's going on tonight on the Mac to the Future Livecast. Go. And hello, everyone. We are so happy that you are joining us tonight on the Mac to the Future Livecast. Go. I don't know why I'm sounding like a robot, but I am. It's just the way it sometimes works. And I am not alone. I am not alone. I also have with me tonight Mr. Dave Ginsburg.
Hey.
Hello there, sir.
What's going on?
And look, I even got the banner right.
Wow, you're impressive.
I know.
I can't believe we've been on 3 podcasts in 1 week.
I know. Warren was like, I've been seeing you guys like everywhere.
For Mac Eyes Only, then Mac Voices Live last
cast.
Night, yeah, and then you got us tonight. So
yeah,
that's a trifecta.
Well, I know people are probably tired of looking at us. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide right over here to Mr. Warren Sklar. Hello there, Mr. Warren Sklar.
I am not as much of a podcast horror as you guys.
Well, that's a strong way. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that's kind of a strong way to put it.
You know, I did I did ask to be on Chuck's little thing last night because I was
What happened to my camera?
You
here?
begged.
There I am.
I didn't beg. I said if you want to let me in. But that was fun too. So I had a good time.
It was fun.
It was. And we have a bunch of good people in already, and they're making some, what I'm guessing are wonderful comments. Okay. Oh, come on. What's wrong with my mouse here? There we go. Frank says it's the Mac Voices group.
Half of it, a third of it.
Oh, and he got the boom arm. Good. You're welcome, Frank. And it's, oh, hey, Facebook user. We're so glad that you're here tonight. My
not
goodness.
A clickable link. Just letting you know.
Speaking of which,
clean.
let's right there. There you go.
Yeah.
If you want your
Dave Freeman.
Yeah, if you want your name to show up when we hit your comments, you got to kind of go on over there to good old StreamYard.com/Facebook and hit the okay. I will sign over my first child to you because that's how all these things work. You saw us on MSNBC. I'm sorry. I'm not believing that at all.
There is no way.
I think that's a fib. I think that's definitely a fib.
Facebook user said, Warren, did I order my new MacBook Pro? No, I got the MacBook Air.
You'll hear all about it.
Yeah.
Well, you'll hear about the exciting ordering process. That's about it until I get it. There you
go. What's this one?
Oh,
how's your new phone? How is your new phone? Who got
Didn't
a new
get
phone?
it yet.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Get it tomorrow.
I thought it was
tomorrow.
Friday.
I'm not getting it tomorrow. I'm getting it Friday.
We'll find out Friday. It's not tomorrow yet. I'll find out Friday.
And I'll find out about my new phone when I order one.
2 years ago. 2 years later.
Yeah, 2 years later. Now, sure enough, we don't have, other than talking about the event yesterday, I don't think we have any other news or topics unless there's something you guys want to bring up.
Plenty to talk about.
Okay. In quick takes, a couple things that I noticed about all of these machines is that the absolute most amount of RAM that you can put in them is 16 gigabytes. And because it's all kind of baked into the M1, it's not like you can, you'd have to have like a really small soldering iron.
You'd have to do some unbaking.
You'd have to do some unbaking to replace the RAM that's built into the M1. And we're going to talk about the M1 a little bit farther down the road in the show tonight. Also, the most amount of storage in the machines so far that you can have is 2 terabytes.
These are low-end machines. Keep in mind, these are their low-end machines. And we're also thinking of RAM in the way we think about RAM now.
Right.
So
as compared to the way it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is integrated. So, a 7,200 RPM, 1 terabyte hard drive is not the same as a 1 terabyte SSD drive. I mean,
I don't think they could fit a 7,200 RPM drive inside that chip.
Especially since there's no moving parts, there's no RPM.
Yeah,
so that would
they would just like sit there.
It doesn't revolve.
It would not be good. Yeah, the whole chip would have to spin inside the enclosure.
That wouldn't work. But so I mean, people are like,
it can also be used as like the fan. So
people are like, oh, only 16 gig, but we don't know what that means. I mean, that could mean it could mean the same thing as a phone, or an iPad that has, nobody
3
cares.
or 4.
Nobody cares how much RAM it has in that because it doesn't matter.
Who needs more than 16 gigs of RAM? I mean, unless you're like some intense video editing.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
I ordered my Air with 8.
Bill Gates, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight, Bill.
Yeah. Hi, Bill. I was going to bump it up to 16. And you had to wait a little bit, and then I thought about it, and I have 8 on my current Air, and it's fine. I don't do anything that needs it, and it's never been an issue.
Okay, well let's talk about the MacBook Air. That was the once they got around to announcing which ones it was going to be, and this was like really a super short. I think this was like the shortest event.
49 minutes.
Yeah. Was it even that long? I thought it was like 44 minutes, 45 minutes.
No,
was it 49 minutes? Okay. Yeah, it was like really, really short.
45, 49, whatever.
Yeah. And that kind of surprised me. And of course, even with that, there was still like a lot of filler. They talked a lot about comparisons between, without actually saying the word Intel. I don't think they ever said Intel. They just said like our former machines or a former processor, things like that. They kind of danced around it. I think they, for whatever reason, they don't want to piss off Intel. But they had lots of comparisons to their former machines as compared to the newer ones. And they talked a little bit about, what system on a chip means and so on and so forth. And then they got to the meat and potatoes, which in the very first one was the MacBook Air. And this is the machine that you got. And you said you got the 8 gig
I got
machine, Warren? That's the one you ordered?
I didn't get the base model one, but I got the second level one with the 512 gigabyte drive and the 8-core processor and the 8-core GPU, which is a little bit different than the entry level one. And
yeah, that's.
then
I mean, why would they have?
I read an
just a
article
s-
about that. I could tell you.
Okay, tell me.
So when they make the M1 chips, there's some of them don't. Some of them actually have problems. They're not fully certified or great. They actually have some, I don't know, damage or missing parts, missing things in it.
Or
And
possibly just that they had one core that wasn't quite up to snuff, so they just disabled it.
they didn't disable. Well, no, I mean, it's an actual defect, is what it is. So there's a defect in some of the chips, and basically maybe they did something to it, but basically, yeah, they were able to use those defected chips, take a core out of it on the GPU and use them for the entry level Air, which is weird, but there you go. It's the same. So it's the same chip with a defect on it.
That's what people want to hear when they buy a new computer.
But that's what it is here.
Come for the OS, stay for the defects. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that article.
Okay. Well, the CPU is supposed to be 3.5 times faster, 3.5x faster, without actually giving you any benchmarks, than the previous MacBook Air. Hopefully better than Intel integrated graphics. Super long battery life. Both of these machines, both the laptop machines that they talked about, have 16 to 20 hours of battery life. Now, I can't imagine you'll be doing much with it for 16 to 20 hours to get that.
That's advertised, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And frankly, anything over 10 hours, I think you're just bragging. You're bragging at that point. So this is the machine that you got, Warren. Did you order anything, Dave?
I did not. Nope, I'm holding off.
What's the machine that you're holding off for?
I mean, I was looking a little bit at the Mini. I thought that would be a good little machine to have. Then not too terribly expensive, but I've got a 2018 right now, and I'd be able to trade it in. So, but I'm gonna hold off a little bit, see where things go, and get a little bit more budget. Maybe I might lean towards the Air just as a secondary. But then I want to wait till next year, and when the MacBook Pro 16-inch comes out, I can trade in this 2019 MacBook Pro I have now, the 15-inch. So, and then that'll be my primary guide. And yeah,
well,
Frank says it does have two USB-C ports or Thunderbolt 4 ports, and that's what it has now on the Mac Mini, which is
and the MacBook Air only has two. Now, have they changed the name of USB-C to USB 4, or is this
it's
a new
USB-C 4 with
version?
Thunderbolt 3? It's USB 4 with Thunderbolt 3, and the Mac Mini, the MacBook Air, and the new MacBook Pro all have two USB-C 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports.
Was that what they're calling USB-C now? Is USB 4? Is there any difference
I thought
between
it was USB 4? Yeah,
USB-C and USB 4, or is it just a marketing term?
I don't know. I think it's USB-C 4 is what I thought it was, but the USB-C is a connector. Maybe, I don't know. I think it's USB 4. It must be, because before it was USB 3. But Thunderbolt, right?
Yeah.
Thunderbolt 4.
Well, Thunderbolt version 4.
No, it's still Thunderbolt 3, isn't it?
Oh wait, it's Thunderbird. It is. It's Thunder. Yeah.
Thunderbolt 4.
No,
that's.
Oh no, it's right. I'm looking at the grid here now. Yeah, it's Thunderbolt / USB 4 controller.
Yeah, so it's Thunderbolt 3 USB 4.
Right. And the Thunderbolt. So that's the one thing too, is the Thunderbolt 4 was a little bit faster than 3, and it allowed you to essentially daisy chain drives.
Yeah.
Where the 3 didn't. So that's where I'm confused, whether we'll be able to do that with the USB 4 or not. The big limitation I've seen, especially with 2 ports on the on these MacBooks, is expansion with additional USB-C Thunderbolt hubs. So it's very difficult or impossible right now to find the Thunderbolt 3 little hub that has additional
Right.
USB-C ports on it.
Right, you're right.
Or even Thunderbolt ports on it, or USB-C.
Well, certainly not without spending another $300 plus.
There's a few docks out there, not hubs. There's a few docks that will add one more. I've seen them, but that will add one more Thunderbolt port to it. But that's a whole dock.
Yeah,
So
I've got the OWC, the Thunderbolt 3 dock, and it's got
one in the front, one in the back, if I remember.
Well, those are USB A ports. The back's got 2 of the USB C.
Right, but you have to use one for connectivity.
One of connectivity, the other one, then I have an extra, right?
So basically, right, but you're using one to plug it in, so you're still losing that one port. So you're not actually gaining a port. You're not actually getting USB.
No, right. You're just getting that port back after using the dock.
So that would be, I mean, the Mac, like even a 12-inch MacBook, if they re-released that with the one USB-C, and if they made it a Thunderbolt 3 port, and you were able to add like a $30 hub to it to get more ports, and that would be something. That would be something to consider. So right now 2 ports are not a big deal, but again, if you could hub them, it'd be cool.
Okay, the next one that they announced was the MacBook Pro 13-inch, which is supposed to be almost 3 times faster, 5 times graphic speeds, 20 freaking hours of. I don't even want to read speak what I wrote down here. 20 freaking hours of potential battery life, starts at $12.99, and again, only 2 Thunderbolt 3 USB 4 ports.
Right.
But it still has the touch bar, and this is how much less is this than the previous MacBook Pro?
It's the same 13? Price. It's the same price.
Is that the same price?
It's replacing the low end MacBook Pro 13-inch.
Yeah, because I saw that the Intel one was still on the page to buy.
They're still selling them.
It is still there. So it's replacing. My son has the previous Intel. He has a 2019 13-inch MacBook Pro with 2 ports.
Yeah,
with the Intel chip, which was $12.99. And basically, that's what this is replacing. The processor was considerably lower speed for Intel last year than the middle model, which put the 4 ports in. So the processor was, definitely not as powerful as the 4-port models on the 13-inch Pros. That was a big difference too. But still,
so do you think there'll be another MacBook Pro 13-inch coming out after this one? And I don't mean across the course of history. I mean, as they start rolling out more machines, do you think there'll be a higher end MacBook Pro 13-inch?
Well, the rumor
to supplement this one here.
The rumor is they're going to go to a 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M maybe 2 or 1, whatever is going to be chip.
So that would be like the mid-range then.
That would be the 13-inch. That would be basically the higher-end 13-inch Pro in a different form, I think. I think this Pro that we're seeing here on the M1, I think it's going to be the end of the line for this shape.
Form factor
of the MacBook Pro 13-inch, at least. That's I could be wrong, but that's what I think. And, supposedly, it's the same chip as the MacBook Air and the Mac Mini, but supposedly it's a little faster because of the cooling system. Right. And, it's according to what I'm reading today with the benchmarks, it's definitely a lot faster than the Intel chip that came with the previous generation of this entry-level 13-inch MacBook Pro.
Okay. The last one that they announced, this was almost a one more thing in the one more thing event. I certainly didn't expect it. I know that some people had talked about it, but I really didn't think that there was going to be this particular desktop machine. I thought that if they were going to go with a desktop machine, that it would be like an iMac or something like that. But it's the Mac Mini. They have a M1 powered Mac Mini. Not that this is that hard, but 3 times better graphics. And it's cheaper than the one that came before. It starts at $699 with only RAM and storage as extras at about $200 a pop for each one of them. 2 Thunderbolt USB 4 ports, Ethernet, 2 USB-A ports, and 1 HDMI 2.0 port. So this one doesn't have the display port that I think the last one did. This is the machine I bought, and I got it with 16 gigs and 512 storage. So I bumped it up a little bit. I had said it on the show, and you guys took me to task for this at various times yesterday. I said I was not going to buy the first gen silicon-based Macs.
Now you're an early adopter. Look at you. You went from, you can't get me off.
You can't
make me iOS 14 or an iPhone either.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be early adopting this, and this is crazy stuff. To like one of the first buyers of it. So look at you.
Yeah, it was a common phrase that I kept saying yesterday was "shut up and take my money." I said that a lot yesterday, and they did. They absolutely did take my money. I mean,
guys, literally, we spent almost like $1,400 without seeing this thing. And even knowing that's what Apple does to us. Like same with our phones, Steve. Friday.
I think mine was $12.99 for the Mac Mini that I bought.
Mine was the same. The same price, but I got an Apple Care because I always.
Yeah, I did too because when you're buying something this fresh off the stove.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You kind of need to have a little bit of insurance there. In case things don't work out quite as planned.
So there's our $1.50 that we all spent on this thing that we don't even know anything about yet. So, we've got to have a little faith. And, there's a 14-day return if you turn it on and it's garbage. If it's like a netbook, then, we'll return it.
Well, I know one of the things that I'm really looking forward to trying out will be my podcasting setup. And fortunately... was it Monday or was it yesterday that Rogue Amoeba updated their apps?
2 days ago. Yeah, it was 2 days ago.
Okay, so it was Monday. Rogue Amoeba updated Loopback. They updated Audio Hijack. They updated Sound Source. I don't know if they updated Fusion or not, but most of the apps that I use in my workflow to record the My Mac pod, this of course I use StreamYard, but the My Mac podcast and I guess just the My Mac podcast then, that I use all those apps for. Guy's Daily Drive, of course, I'm just doing that off my iPhone directly to the Facebooks. So I really, really want to give that a try. And when the Mac Mini comes sometime between the 24th and the 27th, according to what Apple is telling me, going to hook it up, see what's going on. I might do a couple of test recordings. I don't know if I'll trust that enough to record the My Mac podcast that first weekend, but I will be putting it through its motions for recording audio. And I'm curious to see, because I mean, right now I'm using it's a 4-core i7 iMac with 48 gigs of RAM to currently do all of those things now. And I mean, we're talking loopback to Hindenburg through Skype and Farrago and all these other programs that I use to record audio. And I'm doing it on a pretty beefy iMac. So I'm curious to see whether the M1 can handle that. And I guess I'll find out in a couple of weeks once I get into my hot little hands. Now, the other thing...
That's what they want us to do. That's why...
I know.
Yeah.
This computer is going to make me spend even more money because both of the external monitors that I have are HDMI 1. So it's 1920 by 1280. And the output of the Mac Mini can go all the way up to 4K. And I don't have a monitor currently that will do that. So I may have to get another monitor.
I think it's more than 4K. It could drive the. I thought it could drive the.
It can drive two 4K. It can drive two 4K displays.
It could also drive the $5,000
can it?
monitor.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
So can a Pro. So can a Pro.
Yeah.
The Air cannot for some reason.
But I'm
Pro,
how many people are going to buy that kind of monitor
for that little
Mac Mini?
Yeah.
It's like, well, the Mac Mini cost me about $1,000. The monitor was $5,000. So
right.
Let's do that.
Well, Apple's like it can,
and we made it so you could.
You could.
And it would be really stupid, but it's your money.
That's right.
Which, of course, that's what they say about everything that they sell. So I'm looking to get a 4K monitor, at least 27 inches, that I can use to try this machine out. And it'll need to have at least 2 HDMI ports, because I'll use one for the Mac Mini and I'll use the other one as a secondary monitor for the iMac, and just switch between them. So I'm looking forward to that. And the other thing that I have, actually I've already bought it. It's from OWC, and it's their mini Thunderbolt port, or the Thunderbolt hub. It's got 2 HDMI 4K ports and 2 USB-A ports and an Ethernet port.
I got one like that. It's my Anchor. Yeah. That's
pretty much I think all I'm going to need for that computer. Everything else, I mean, I've got a 7-port hub that I have attached to this iMac right here. And that's mostly just because of all the external drives that I have connected. And if I can do away with some of that, or just get a single enclosure that will hold more than, because right now, my problem right now, amongst many things, is the 2 enclosures that I have, which is an older Drobo and some off-brand 4-bay enclosure, can't take anything more than, I think, a 4 terabyte drive. So if I can get a single enclosure with, 2 to 4 disks that can take an 8 to 10 terabyte hard drive, then I can partition those and use them for backups for each other and all the rest of that. And I'll only take up 1 port instead of at least the 2 that I'm using now. So we'll, everything is, and plus, of course, I also have to have at least 1 USB port available for all of my audio gear, because that all connects up via USB. So I'm really looking forward to this machine. I can't wait for it to show up.
You and me both. Mine's going to replace my work laptop, my travel laptop. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I have the I have Boot Camp on my laptop now, but to be honest with you, I haven't really needed it. So I feel pretty comfortable that I'll be all right. And I'm just going to use it as my my travel work laptop and see how it goes. If I should be able to do everything I did before.
Oh, they're saying in the chat that the Mac Mini can go up to 6K.
That's what I said. I said it could do the new $5,000 monitor, which is a 6K.
And Facebook user likes my hub, so thank you. And Frank wants to know if you can dongle a Mac Mini into an older iMac as a monitor. I'm pretty sure that you can.
It's Is
it kind of a kludge?
No, it stopped. The Mac. The Mac. Did you see it into an iMac? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
It stopped in like 2014 or 15. You used to be able to use iMacs as an external display. They stopped doing that, so you can't do that at all without some kind of
Well, that sucks. I was wondering if I was going to be able to do that. Okay, well, I guess I can't.
Why would you?
Well, because then I would only need to get 1 4K monitor, and I could have used my iMac as a second one. Assuming that I would be going straight with this Mac Mini as my main machine.
Strangely enough, if you want, you could do it with the Luna display thing that's kind of got Sherlocked. If you really wanted to, the Luna hardware, if you put that on your home computer, you could use the iMac as a headless display, but that's clunky. So
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it is. All right.
Yep.
The last thing I want to talk about tonight is the new M1 chip. And this thing, if it works as advertised, I mean, you look at how, the architecture behind it, and you've got an 8-core CPU, you've got an 8-core GPU, you've got your RAM,
R2D2.
you got your R2D2,
C3PO.
you've got the neural engine is built in, and it's using much less power than anything else that's out there. I mean, this is when Apple bought that ARM chip company, I think it was an Israeli company, a number of years ago, and I'm kind of I'm kind of surprised that they were able to put all this together as quickly as they could, and already have these out the door for the Mac. So, as you kind of go through the specs here, 16-core neural engine, whatever that means. But the fact that it's providing more power, it's providing.
It plugs into your brain, by the way.
Oh, good. Is there like a cord, or is it wireless?
It's a Thunderbolt 4 cord that goes right into your brain.
So there's surgery involved.
No, it goes in through the ear. You don't even have to open anything up.
So basically, you take one of these.
It's like an AirPod. In fact, the end of the cable looks like an AirPod.
It is wireless. It's wireless. You just put the AirPods.
It's got the wire. You got you're attached. They haven't. Yeah. The bandwidth isn't there for the wireless yet to get the neuron.
And much like the Qi chargers, you still have to have a cable coming out of it to hook up to the wall.
In fact, now you got to charge your brain. Say they sell the iPillow charger, which it's like a big. It's kind of like a big wireless. It's the air power, but it's big.
Yeah, you better have an even bigger one for me.
You just lay your head on it.
I'll need a lot of charging.
You wake up in the morning and your brain is all charged.
So now getting back to the M1, this looks like this is the foundation for where the Mac is going in the future. And for anyone who thinks this way, they're not going to go back to Intel. They're not. No. This is the future of the Mac. And with Big Sur, you're also going to have this incredible plethora of software that wasn't available for the Mac before for iOS and iPadOS applications. Once developers kind of get their hands on it and start to Macify some of these applications that you've been using a lot with your smaller, more mobile devices. Mm-hmm. So what is the future then? Is there going to be, obviously we're going to see more and differently designed laptops. We're going to see some more desktops. So we're looking at least one, probably two different MacBook Pros that's going to be coming out. We're looking at probably at least one, maybe two iMacs. And do you think that they'll up the sizes in the iMacs a little bit, go from like 21.5 to 24, or from 27 to 30 or 32?
Hard to say.
Probably. I mean, it's they're making the display bigger with the footprint smaller, so they might be able to make a 24-inch screen in the body of a 21-inch current.
Yeah, iMac. And I'm looking at this 27-inch iMac. It's got about almost a 2-inch bezel all the way around the screen itself. So you've got the room to go much bigger if you reduce some of the bezel. Now they also have to probably take the ability to cut cheese with it as being so thin on the top here. Yeah. I mean, well, what I mean. No, not that kind of cut the cheese. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, we all kind of, we are forgetting though that the things I released yesterday look exactly Well,
Yeah.
but they look exactly the same as the current stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's like a new design and things like that, but they really played the safe route on this one, and almost a late. I think they said we're going to have this stuff out by the end of the year, and they're like, then they kind of said that and say, oh, well, we really don't have that much time. Let's just stuff like the new stuff in the old stuff. So I mean, it's kind of a bummer.
Do you think they played it safe, or do you think that this was to gain confidence with people to get them to convince people like me, who are sitting there saying, "Shut up and take my money," because it's
they want people to but they didn't want to, they wanted to get this out quickly, and they didn't want to do a whole new design with a new processor. So they're like, all right, we're gonna not change too much. We're gonna change the processor, and that's pretty much it, because they're exactly the same. There's no difference.
Do either one of you know anyone that had one of the developer machines?
Yes.
Do you?
I would love to see.
He can't tell me anything.
No,
right.
No.
So.
I would love to see a side-by-side comparison. We probably will, with the development machine and the Mac Minis that are coming out. See what the differences are.
It's going to be faster. Sure.
Well, the person that you knew that had one, did he say anything? Was there anything good or anything bad that he was able to tell you without going into great details?
He saw some improvements performance-wise. I mean, it definitely different when it came to that. But yeah, not much else he could tell me.
So,
I mean,
okay.
Those leaked benchmarks were pretty solid.
Really? Okay.
So, Guy, yours is not coming next week because you built the order.
I got the 16-inch or 16-inch. I got the 16 gig RAM model.
So hopefully by this time tomorrow, I will be on the new machine, and I could tell you how it's going.
Well, of course. Well, what I need you to do.
Your new machine's coming tomorrow?
No, by this time tomorrow. This time next week.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what I meant.
Well, you really got some connections at Apple, do you?
Well, he's gonna drive right to Cupertino in the Tesla and
they did
give it to him.
They did charge my credit card though today.
Of course, that.
Yeah. Well,
I've seen the charge already
the Apple
myself.
card 53%.
I did. That's a whole $30 right there. I don't know what I might buy.
I did the 12 month payment plan.
I could buy one of these, which I just got.
What's that?
Case, yeah. Yeah,
oh.
I'm getting the leather. I bought the leather one with my. Oh, Dave, we should postpone our show until like Friday night, so we could, at least have our new phones to talk about it. But
yeah, we could. That's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah,
and then I'll have mine too.
Yeah,
we can give our review within hours, and then the following week we get a full week's worth.
Yeah, maybe. Because
I'm not going to have one.
It's going to be a very exciting week for me. Between the new, I almost forgot about the new phone already. I got so excited with this new Mac. I'm like, oh yeah,
I got 2 cases. There's another one.
I got 2 also. You got 2 clear ones though.
Yeah, I always like clear.
I didn't like the Apple Clear case. I really didn't like it.
This is the spec. The spec was on. That's the one I had on my current one now. So,
but your other one was the Apple Clear, I think, right?
Well, no, my current one is a spec, but the two,
the 2 cases.
This is the Apple, yeah.
The Apple Clear, right?
And then the Apple, and then the spec.
Right. I got the black leather, and I got 2 off Amazon.
I got to show off that Pacific blue.
Yeah, I got the silver.
Say why, and I felt kind of the same way with last year when green was the big color. It's like,
so that's why I got.
Yeah. Why are you going to go to all the trouble to pick the color that everyone is going to get, and then you're going to cover it with a case that they can't see the color?
That's why I got silver.
But they will. With my cases, they will see the color.
Yeah, with a clear case, you would.
I went to the Apple store today. I was telling Guy that I'm getting my I'm getting my
job there.
I got my 16-inch MacBook. It has a small little crack in there, so I'm getting it fixed for $100. But anyways, I was in there. I saw the Pro phones, and I saw the silver, and it looks nice. It's really nice. So I'm excited.
Especially you got to sell it, so you better get it in tip-top shape.
That's what I'm doing for the 16-inch. So this online place will give me $200 less with that little tiny crack in it than they will without the crack. And the Apple Care thing is $100.
Cost you $100. Right.
So I might as well get the
Plus
extra
you can
100.
cash in, get your money back on the Apple Care.
That's right. Yep, I'm doing that too.
So you basically got Apple Care for free.
Yeah. Plus, I'm selling. Well, also the Air that I have now has Apple Care, so I'll get that Apple Care back.
Right.
And then I'm selling my phone on Friday, which also has Apple Care. So I'm getting it just like bombarded with refunded Apple Care. I'm going to be rich in Apple
I got to
Care
make sure
refunds.
I get. Oh, and I'm on the upgrade program. I don't think I can get my Apple Care back.
No, because you pay monthly for it.
Right.
Well, I'm probably going to keep this current Mac Mini that I have, which is my 32-bit machine. I'm probably going to get rid of my 15-inch early 2013 MacBook Pro. I can't put Big Sur on it anyway. And then, because that's what I've been using for my work machine, but I'll just use the 2018 MacBook Air that I have instead for work, because I also have like a little 15-inch side cart monitor that works with it as well. So if we ever get Mac stock going again, I'll have a setup that's going to look really impressive. It'll be the MacBook Air and a secondary monitor, assuming that I still have the 2018 MacBook Air and I don't say shut up and take my money for some other
And
new
get off my lawn.
and get off my damn lawn, you
But
stinking kids.
By the time
Would have
Mac stock
gotten away
happens,
with it too if it wasn't for you and those meddling kids.
by the time we're able to go to Mac stock, you'll have whatever laptop I sell you in 2 years.
No, that was a one-time deal. It would have to be one hell of a deal, because that MacBook Air is pretty sweet.
I got a nice 2020. I could part with.
Shut up and take my money. No,
It's
I
nice
don't want
700.
I'm good. I'm not going to buy any more Intel-based Macs. Not going to do it.
I'm selling mine now. The future's near. The future's nigh. Get
The
rid of
future
anything
is
Intel.
here.
Yes.
While it still has some value. Flying cars. No, Frank. No. No flying cars. Unless you want to reduce the surplus population by half. Everyone would die in flying cars. All right. Well, I think, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about tonight?
No.
Well, kind of a short and sweet show. So we are gonna scoot like a couple of galoots. And before we go,
It's all been said.
Dave, if people wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do it?
You would go to In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. The show
Just
that
like
I
it says
do
right there.
right there and down there. And with Mr. Warren Sklar. And you can also find me on Twitter at DaveG65.
And what about you, Mr. Warren?
It's ever so difficult. If you ever want to find me, I don't know. I do this show. I do a show with Dave. And then I'm on Facebook a lot. So that's where you find me.
A lot. A whole lot.
Too much.
Too much. All right. If you'd like to get a hold of me, email address is guy@mymac.com. The website is vertshark.com, where you can see all the audios and all the videos. And don't make it too long. Don't make it too long. They'll kill this. I swear to God, they will kill this video. She never says that.
Shit said that.
She never, ever
Don't
says
make
that.
it too long.
Don't make it too long.
No.
If you go on over to the YouTubes and type in Vert Shark, you'll find my channel over there. Besides this show, I also do the mymac.com podcast with Mr. Gaz Maz nearly every single weekend, the mymac.com podcast. And every once in a while,
you're the alternative Gaz, right?
I'm sorry?
I heard you're the alternative
No, Gaz and I, other than how tall we are.
From one of the shows, they called you the other
Oh,
Gaz.
yeah. On the for Mac Guys. And I was actually let me get back out of this. I was talking to Mike after we got done recording, and it was like, okay, you can have Gaz on the show for a reaction time show. You can have me on the show for a reaction time show. You do not want both of us together on any show that isn't the mymac.com podcast, because it will get out of control very, very quickly. It's just something you don't want to do. Unless being out of control is what you were looking for, then good job, because that's what you'll get. Besides all those things I told you, you can also go on over to the Twitters. You can find me. I'm usually going under Mac Parrot, but I also have another one that I feed a lot of my Vert Shark stuff through, all the audios and videos. So if you want to follow me over on Twitter, it's Mac Parrot and it's Vert Shark, and those are all the different ways. Those are all the different ways that you can get a hold of me. And I'm sorry, one more time.
Back.
There we go. All right, that is going to do it, I think, for this evening. Let me see. There's 4 more comments. What's going on here? Oh, it's Frank, Mini Gaz. Well, actually, yes. Wouldn't it be Mini? It would be Mini Guy, because Gaz is much shorter than I am. I think that's how that works. But we are gonna get out of here. I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend that's coming up. And if Warren, happy Veterans Day. Yes, thank you all who has served our country.
Yes.
And if Dave and Warren could just say goodnight to Dave and Warren, then we'll get out of here.
Good night, Dave and Warren.
See, I told you.
Rock. They're ending unlimited Google photo storage for Google Photos.
You know, I cannot believe. Oh, Frank is wishing you a happy birthday, Dave.
Thank you, Frank.
Well, Dave's birthday.
Didn't he say that last night too on
he did.
Yeah, he said it.
Shuck Show? Yeah, if you guys really, whoever's still here, if you want to see a really great and fun panel show.
That was fun.
There is something about Chuck Joyner's Tuesday night open mic on Facebook that, depending on who he has on,
discovered it because I started telling you I was on there every week.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know about it.
Technically, yesterday was an open mic. Supposedly, it was the one day I tried to join that was an open mic.
And
yeah, well, there was a lot of people.
You got some clout, so he let you in.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because he said to me, "Oh yeah, send him the link."
Then go ahead, yeah, bring him in, and that's exactly how Chuck sounds. Exactly how he sounds. Bring him in. Kind of, yeah, bah humbug.
All right,
it's such a fun show, and
we had fun. I do it every week. I love it.
Yeah. That's like one of my go-tos. And the thing is, I have to schedule it. I have to put it in my calendar so that I'm reminded.
Put it in,
because I'm an old man now, and so I don't always remember. But I knew that I really wanted to be on last night, and I'm glad I was.
Me too.
So many good people. So I think that's going to do it tonight, guys.
All right, guys.
So we're gonna go Facebook. Thanks again for being here, and the edited version of the show will probably be up sometime tomorrow, because I got to have some time to do some stuff, and I'm working tomorrow. Ouch! I'm working tomorrow and Friday, unfortunately, at the office.
You and me both. All right, guys. I'll talk to you.
Okay, bye Facebook.
Yeah, and bye.